Hi, I'm Linda Gaines from Geeky Girl Gaines Crafts, and previously I made a video to show how I make sea glass using wine bottles that I put into a rock tumbler. So I've been wanting to try for a while a new thing to try in the rock tumbler, which is I've seen some information that it might be possible to make what somebody called sea pottery. And so I'm going to see if I can do it or see how it turns out, because I'm not entirely sure exactly how to do it. I've never done it before. Or what I mean by, I'm not entirely sure like what type of grit for how long to put it into the tumbler and specific details like that. So I'm just going to experiment and I'm going to videotape it so you can learn with me. So right here, I've got these are Fiestaware dishes. They were my dishes that unfortunately they broke, years ago. I think when I was moving and I like dropped a box or something. And years ago, I used to make pottery. So I saved the dishes and I don't know, I just carried them around with me, and I was thinking, you know, at some point in time, I was thinking, well, maybe, because I just kept them. So I was thinking, well, maybe I'll make a mosaic with them, you know, with the pottery tiles that I'd made, but I never ended up doing that. And now I don't really make pottery anymore, but I have these. So I thought I'd try to see if I could make, what would happen if I put some pieces into the rock tumbler. So, yeah, so watch along and see what happens. So please see my original video that I recorded where I was making sea glass to get some details here. Basically, I am just taking the Fiestaware plates and I'm hammering them to get them into smaller pieces. And also, again, with my original sea glass video, I showed you all the equipment, particularly the safety equipment I am using. I am currently, while I'm doing this, I am wearing eye protection, and I'm also wearing a respirator just for any, you know, dust that gets kicked up while I am smashing the plates with a hammer. But eye protection is very important. Okay, so I have broken the plates into various sized pieces. I do hope somebody out there appreciates the irony of me having such a difficult time breaking these plates with a hammer, considering the entire reason I was breaking them with a hammer is that I had already broken them by dropping them. So I don't know, maybe I should have just taken the plate and then dropped it on the ground, but I feel like that would have been kind of dangerous. So yeah, okay, so I've got enough to fill 2 tumblers. Hopefully it is not too much. Okay, so this one is about 1.2 pounds of pottery. This one is also about 1.2 pounds of pottery. So weight-wise, I think it's pretty good. So I'm going to add in the last video I showed, I use, this is aquarium gravel, and just reuse it over and over again to help it good. So the pottery is not, or whatever, the glass, the pottery is not just rubbing against each other. It's being cushioned a little bit, and then also the, you know, the pebbles are also helping to kind of score it, not score it, but soften the edges. Okay. So I'm going to tap it down because I'm trying to get the little pea gravel to fill like the nooks and crannies, or I mean, in other words, I don't just want it to be sitting on the top. And of course, once it starts tumbling, everything will hopefully get mixed up. But I just want to And before I finish, I want to make a note that I'm quite positive Fiesta ware is low fire pottery. Just because of the thickness and also the glazes they use. And, you know, this is already pretty soft. So really what I want to do is I want to soften, oops, sorry, I'm off camera. What I want to do is I just want to soften some of these points, and then also soften the edges. But I mean, I can already run my finger along here and it's not going to cut me. I'm hoping to just kind of, yeah, soften some of these pointy stuff, and then, you know, kind of, I'm hoping that I can just kind of soften the edges a little bit. That's what I'm hoping will happen. We will see what happens. So because of that, I'm debating what kind of grit to use and also how long to tumble. Just a little bit more. I want to make sure there's plenty of room for it to tumble around. So I think that's pretty good. So now I'm going to add the water. So what I've decided to do is use stage 3 grit. My logic with this is that if I use the stage 3 grit and it's just not, and like it's not really doing anything, I need to scour more, then I can go backwards and use stage 2 grit again. Or not again, but in other words, use stage 2 grit and then come back with the stage 3 grit if needed. Whereas if I start with stage 2 and that's too coarse for what I need, then I've kind of ruined what I'm doing. So, of course, then again, I don't know I don't know if all grit's gonna ruin this. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna start with stage 3 grit and add that. So at this point, I have donned a respirator because I'm going to be working with the grit, and the grit is a fine powder, and I don't want to be breathing that in. So I would recommend to anyone, if you're going to be working with the grit, to wear a respirator. Just don't breathe that in. And similar to when I was making sea glass, I am using 2 tablespoons of grit per drum. The only difference is with the glass, I was using stage 1 grit. And as I noted just a moment ago, I'm using stage 3 grit here. And I'm going to keep the respirator on until I've completely closed these drums up. Okay, so my broken Fiestaware dishes have now been tumbling for about 24 hours. So I'm going to open up and see what they look like, because I have no idea how long to leave them in there. And I want to leave them in long enough to soften the edges and you know, sort of kind of soften the edges and round things out a little bit, but I don't want them to be in there so long that the glaze is worn off. So, ooh. Well, right now, okay, so the good news is the glaze is still on there. And it does feel like, it kind of feels like they're being softened just a little bit, but this is definitely still sharp. And I'm not actually sure, because since I did use grit stage 2, I don't actually know if that grit's and the pebbles and the grit together are going to be able to soften this sharp point. But even sort of this edge right here, I mean, it's not so sharp that it's going to cut me, but it's still fairly sharp. So, yeah. Okay, so I'm not even going to bother to check the other one based on how this one feels. So I'm going to put this back in and then let it go for, I don't know, I guess another 24 hours or so, and check it again and just see what it looks like, because this is truly an experiment. So so we'll check in again 24 hours. Okay, so the the pieces from the broken dish plate have been tumbling for about a week now. I actually have been checking it every day just to see how it's looking, since I've never done this before. And, you know, there's a specific, I want them to be softened, but I want to still have the glaze on there. So anyway, so they've been in there for a week. So let's open it up and see what they look like. Okay, so this is good. There's definitely still glaze left. I think it has been kind of reduced. I feel like it has, the glaze looks like it feels like it has been kind of, well, tumbled. In other words, it doesn't feel like it's quite as strong. But importantly, the corners are soft. Yeah, I'm rubbing my hand. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm rubbing my thumb along the edge, and it feels very soft to me. So I'm gonna go ahead and wash all these and see what they all look like once they've been washed and have out of the grit. So as you can see, I have now moved outside and I've taken the tumbler drums outside, and again, I encourage you to look at my sea glass video that I made first for more details. But all I'm doing is washing out the tumbler drums with water. Do not pour this liquid that has the grit in it down your drain. It's not good for your pipes. So I'm just doing this all outside, and I'm washing out the drums with water, and then I'm gonna clean and then just rinse everything off of the equipment and the importantly the tumbled Fiestaware dishes and the pea gravel that I use over and over again when I'm tumbling things. So now you might have just noticed that what I did was I added some some dish detergent. Specifically, I use Dawn. I have a preference for Dawn, and so I've added. So now that I've washed the pottery, I add some Dawn and some more water, and then this just helps to make sure I get all the grit off of the pieces and everything is nice and clean. Okay, so I have finished cleaning. It took all the pieces out of the tumbler drums, and I finished cleaning them and let them dry. And I am really pleased with the results. This came out honestly better than I thought. I had no idea how it was going to come out, but I am really pleased with the results. So as you can see, Fiestaware is known for its striations in the um, this is one of the dishes that broke, and I had half of it left. Fiestaware is known for these concentric circles, which are actually sort of kind of textured into the clay so then the glaze kind of pools and you get these nice you get the nice changes in the glaze, the coloring, the darkness of it. And so some of the as you can see, so actually let's see, this would have been, yeah, so this is right side up, and this is the edge of the plate, and as you can see, like it's the deeper parts still have the glaze. It hasn't been scoured off, whereas the higher points have been. And so there is still, the whole thing is very smooth to the touch. It's I want to say soft. I mean, it's not soft, but it's very smooth. It's not harsh. And it's certainly not jaggedy. Here, this little piece, you can still see the Fiestaware logo that was stamped on the back. That is still there, but in the center, you can the top, you can see the circles. This is the bottom. Oops, sorry. This is the bottom of the plate, and so you can see this is where it's not glazed, so that when they're putting it in the kiln, it doesn't stick to the whatever it's sitting on. But again, the glaze it's just been sort of rubbed off on the edges. Everything is very smooth. And just to show you again, so this is the other half of the plate, and this is the pieces on top after they've been in the tumbler for a week. And yeah, I'm really, really happy. I am so very pleased with the results. Here again is the yellow. The yellow it's becoming much more subtle. I mean, on here though, this is actually still a little bit pointy. But I mean, it's kind of pointy, but I think it's okay. I don't know. I might put that back in. But yeah, it feels really kind of neat to the touch. And, again, so here's the yellow that, a piece that I still had left over. And as you can see, the, some of it, more of the glaze is still there. I guess this is from the edge, so it's got that nice rounded area. This is the bottom, and you can see the ridge, so in other words, it's this, and this is what it looks like now. Here, I'll show you. So this has become this. So you still get that texture, or the 3D-ness of it. In other words, it hasn't been grinding completely down. And then I don't have any more. Apparently this sort of peach one, I think this is, I want to say this is apricot. I mean, all of this is new Fiesta ware, but this is like one of the first colors they had. This is apparently all I have left. Apparently I shattered that one when I dropped these. So, but yeah, you can still see how the glaze is coming off on the edges, but the edges are smooth. And, it's just, I'm very happy. I'm so excited with these results. I'm just, yeah. So yeah, now my broken Fiesta ware is now going to have a second life in some art that I make. And yeah, I am just very excited. And so when I post this video, again, I will put the details of what I did, especially in terms of the stage of grit, which was stage 3. And then kind of check what I said, because I put it on video. And then again, they've been tumbling for about a week with the pea gravel. And yeah, so then even the smaller pieces came out well. And oh, here's the shard that I had, and I just threw it in there because, you know, let's see what happens. And I mean, it's still got this, it's pointy, but it's smooth. So it's not going to cut anything. And yeah, so this one, this part is jagged. I have a feeling this must have broke off while it was in the tumbler. So I'm going to have to check all the pieces, you know, just to see, as I do with the glass, to make sure there's no pointy edges. But yeah, so that was my experiment in making sea pottery, using some Fiesta ware plates that I had broken years ago, and I just kept with me. So I'm pleased with the result. So if you want to try it, you know, now you know how I did it, and I think I'll probably be trying it with some other broken stuff that I have and just see what happens. Okay, I hope you found this helpful, and I hope you enjoyed this. I'm very excited.